All right, so you came back for round two of mindful strategy. And we're utilizing mindful strategy for health and safety professionals to help us get out of the rat race, that endless cycle of exhaustive actions, firefighting, reaction, and checking the box, and replacing that with intentional action, thriving mindsets, abundance, and we're going for those extraordinary results, right? Sometimes there's a stigma that because we are an expense to the organization, a support function, and we don't show up as revenue and we didn't show up in the overarching company strategy, that we don't have to have a strategy in order to make our programs effective, efficient, and sustainable. So that is a myth. I want to let you know that now. And if we don't have a strategy to work from, that is actually helping us lead to our burnout. Like we're literally just packing the bag and getting on the plane to destination burnout. And that's where I found myself. I didn't have a strategy. My team didn't have a strategy. We were just going in the same way we had always done it, which was a very toxic mindset. So, mindfulness, which was a lot of that first video, is now meeting strategy. Strategy is creating a plan to execute in uncertainty, right, in the future. We cannot predict the future. However, we collect a lot of data and we have a lot of history and we have a lot that tells us already what could happen. And we've also created this vision of where we would like to go. So now we write our vision down. We know who we have in our support network. And now we just got to create the strategy to go get it. The first step in creating a strategy is play to win. So this is actually a mindset, but it's the mindset that's going to help you identify exactly what it is in the strategy that makes the cut. So just like our vision, we want to have a conversation about going after the stars, right? But then we also want to play to win. So let's not put something that's unattainable there, but understanding that we can get to it, we just have to have the right resources. That's where your support network comes in distinctly, because these roots and trunk, right? These are your really strong people in your support network. They are the ones that are going to help you get the resources that you also want to take the opportunity to plan for uncertainty. COVID, right? But not just a pandemic that kind of rocked our world. In strategy, we would call that a disruptor. We also want to plan for turnover, for the person that gets the new role, for you moving on to a new role. We want to make a plan for what we don't expect. And that's why it is so important for your strategic plan to be descriptive, because we have these leaves. And sometimes those leaves can be representative of that turnover role, where you have people that maybe just hit a role for 2 years and they're gone. Well, in 2 years, they may have impacted your strategic plan to different people. And so you want to make sure that you're able to implement a plan that people can just pick up and go. They know exactly what to expect and what is expected of them. And so we want to check our biases to make sure they're not creeping in to our strategic plan. And some of those biases or non-truths could be in the form of confirmation bias. So the first answer is the best answer, is the right answer. We're not challenging it. But what we learned is that we want to challenge at every step of the process, and we want to continue challenging ourselves, especially if strategy is a new process for you. One area that I've seen, and it happens quite often for safety professionals, is not having enough knowledge of an area to create a strategy. A good example would be for a safety professional that has environmental as a responsibility to create a vision and strategic goal for the environmental program. And that may be a place where we may be biased, or we may just not have enough information to make the right decision. So that's a really great place to pull in maybe a colleague of yours, a peer, someone in the corporate environmental office. That is where these branches come into play when we talk about activating our support network. What helps us come up with the greatest program? And the last piece of our strategic plan is a pre-mortem. So you have documented the program at this point, and you need to do a pre-mortem. So document the program and then pre-mortem. How did this fail? So you're sitting, you're looking, you're like, this plan didn't work out. How did it not work out? Why did it not work out? What failed? Identify where the failures are, make a contingency for them, right? Just kind of going back through that cycle again. Make sure your plan is documented. So our strategy side, it's actually just putting everything from the vision right there on paper that's realistic. And it should also be as descriptive as our vision was, because your strategy may not just be 1 year. It should be multiple years, right? You have 1, 3, 5-year plans. Your 1 year usually shows up as an operational plan, hint, hint, third video. But then your 3 and 5-year plans should be descriptive enough that we are anticipating that uncertainty, right? We're planning for the disruptor. We're planning for someone to leave. We're planning for someone to step in. We're planning to have our operational leaders change and have a system and a plan in place that we can just add a new person in. We're plugging and playing. We don't have to start all over again. This is what we've committed to. So in our next video, we will talk about how to manifest and how to give tools for our health and safety leaders to have a strategy, execute that strategy, and then celebrate at the end. So I hope that you are planning to come back for round 3. Very excited to continue sharing mindful strategy steps with you.